Hi, happy cooking day. Okay, we're gonna do your stuffed pork tenderloin, and I already have my mise en place of my onions, my apples, and my cranberry. And I want you to notice how fine these are diced, really fine. And we're gonna saute those down for a little bit. Also have, here is my breadcrumbs, and they are softening in some liquid. If you have chicken stock, you can do that. Otherwise, you can just do water, you can do milk. 2 pieces of bread that I chopped up into chunks like this, and then I'm gonna let it soak for a little while and get soft. Okay, while these onions and apples and cranberries are cooking down and caramelizing, they're gonna go for like at least a solid 10-15 minutes. I'm gonna show you how to do your pork. Okay, pork tenderloins come in a package like this. What you guys have is you have 1 out of the 2. So there's actually 2 loins in here. And I'm gonna cut that open and pull out 1 of the tenderloins and show you what to do. Okay, so here's 1 of the tenderloins. This one I'll save for later. And yours are gonna be different sizes depending on what you got. And this is called the silver skin right here. You wanna take this off, and it's really easy because your knives are nice and sharp. You just pull it up and just slice along, and that can go in the trash. And then you can look for any other pieces of fat that you might want to cut off. A tenderloin is a super, really, really lean cut of meat. It's actually very good for you. Pork, they call the other white meat. Okay, so then pick your side. It doesn't matter which side you're going to cut from. And you're going to cut, this one already kind of has started for me. Don't cut all the way through. Grace, come nice and close. Grace is videoing today. You're not gonna cut all the way through, but you wanna cut almost all the way through because you don't wanna end up with 2 pieces. And I wanna cut almost all the way through so that you can open it up like this. This is a little bit thicker on this end, and so it's just a little harder to open. So you have it open nice and wide like that, because this is what we're going to lay our filling on, and then we'll close it back up and tie it with a string. So you can do this with a chicken breast, where you can slice the chicken breast down the center. You can do it with other tenderloin cuts of beef that are long, or you can do it with your pork tenderloin. So we're gonna have that nice and open. I'm gonna wash my hands, and then I'm gonna salt and pepper the inside of this. And then by then, my filling will be ready and we'll stuff it. Thanks. Okay, so now you're gonna wanna get some string. Make sure that it's cotton and it's not made out of nylon, because if it's made out of nylon, it'll just melt. If you don't have string or twine at home, you can use toothpicks, and that's just fine. So you just want something that's not plastic. You want something that's natural, so that doesn't burn. Okay, so you're going to, I've got this salted and peppered. You're gonna wanna cut about 4 or 5 of these, depending on the size of your pork tenderloin. If you have a small pork tenderloin, you're obviously not gonna need as many. This one's pretty jumbo, and so I'm gonna do 4. All right, and then I'm gonna get these, and I'm gonna slide them under here so that they're ready to roll and tie when I am. And you're just gonna kind of place them in the middle, and then a few spots at the end. In the meantime, we're just about finished with this. You can see that the onions and the apple are nicely caramelized, they're translucent, and the cranberries have plumped back up. What I'm gonna do now is, put this down on a hot pad. I'm going to take my breadcrumbs that have been sitting, and I'm gonna mix them in here with this, and it's gonna create almost like a stuffing. This is kind of how you make stuffing if you're gonna make it for Thanksgiving. You wouldn't soak your breadcrumbs, but this is a good way to use leftover stuffing. Okay, so now that that's all mixed together, I'm going to spoon this down the center of my tenderloin, and I'm gonna stuff both of mine that I bought, and so that's why I have a lot more than you have. If you have extra, you can put it on the side and people can add more to the top of theirs if they want. But you should be able to stuff that all the way down. And then you're just gonna fold your pieces back up and tie them nice and tight. You can tie a double knot, you can tie a bow. I'm probably gonna need more string for mine just because it's a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna tie these and I'm gonna get them in the pan and I'll be right back. All right, here is the finished product. I had to add a few more strings to mine, and you can see some of it's pooching out the side, but that's okay. You just want it to get as tightly pinched as you possibly can so that you don't lose your stuffing. This is gonna go in your oven per your recipe, and check your meat thermometer to make sure that it's reached the right internal temperature, and then you're ready to go. Now when it's time to serve, you're gonna snip with scissors the string and pull it off, and your meat will stay together, and then you can slice it and it's gonna look really beautiful. I'm not baking mine off until tomorrow. This is what it looks like now. Okay, I wanted to show you, if you don't have string, that you can use a toothpick, and it's a little bit like sewing, where you go in one side and you poke out the other side, just like that. If you have toothpicks that are long enough, you can go this way. I have this kind of toothpick too, and that'll hold it together a little bit better. But again, you just go down and you're just keeping this piece, keeping it secure. Thanks, Grace. Keeping this side secure. So that's what it'll look like if you're doing it with toothpicks. And just stuff the stuff in as you go along. And as long as you keep it up like this, you're not gonna lose your filling. All right, that's that.